welcome to Take to the Road. I'm Noah Julian. Today I'm driving a very interesting, very cool 1965 Volkswagen Beetle. And I know some of you are wondering, what's that noise? Yep, you're right, this is an electric Beetle. And this is the Beetle owned by Richard of Electric Classic Cars. Now Richard has kindly given me the keys to his rather special and unique Beetle. And I have to say, it's fantastic. It really is. I mean, sticking a modern electric motor into a classic Beetle is genius. You've got none of the problems, issues of an old Beetle unit. No oil leaks, no noise. All you've got is a very simple and clean electric motor stuck in the back. You got your batteries up front where the petrol tank used to be, some batteries under the seat here in the back, and that's it. It's a very, very simple setup. The driving experience in this Beetle is a bit different. First off, you've got the relative silence. Yeah, there's a whir from the motor, but if you know your Beetles, you know they're a little bit noisy, especially on the motorway, hammering along doing 70. It's very hard to have a conversation in them. It's more a shouting match, to be honest. The car feels very nimble, it feels very light. The old heavy engine sitting out over the back axle is gone. Yes, it's been replaced by an electric motor and all the batteries, but it kind of balances out because we have the heavy batteries up front. So the weight distribution is actually really, really good. So that means when you come up to a corner, you can actually put it in at speed and with a lot of confidence. The suspension setup in this Beetle is fantastic. It's got standard springs, standard shocks, but Richard has put an anti-roll bar on at the front and a positive camber kit on the back, which helps with the toe-in. Beetles also have that classic kind of wheels out at the back at a bit of an angle, which isn't great for handling. But with this, it just handles like a dream. Steering is super light and extremely responsive. It's got a brand new rack in here, it's got everything completely redone, renewed, so the steering feels extremely sharp and light. It's not heavy at all. The brakes are uprated because of the extra power from the torquey motor, but I wouldn't call them amazing brakes. I mean, if you drive a modern car, the brakes are stunning. But they're pretty good for an old Beetle. So now we're going up a hill. Give us some beans. Whoa! Wow, this thing flies. It sounds like a spaceship. Something out of the Jetsons. That whine from the... what sounds like a turbine at the back is just fantastic. It's very addictive actually, because I just want to keep pressing my right foot into the floor. I'm finding I don't really have to use the brakes that much. I can just steer into the corners and power out of them. It's very cool. And as we're going downhill, of course, the main benefit is the regenerative braking. So yeah, I've used a bit of power going up the hill, but I've regained a little bit coming down, so you kind of get a bit back, which is cool. Give it a blast again. Yeah, a little bit of drift there. Oh, that's the seatbelt falling over. But it feels controllable. I think if I was on a straight stretch of road, I could really bury the throttle and this thing would just take off and launch itself to Mars. I'm doing 50 miles an hour here now. 60. Pickup is fantastic. As a classic car fan and a petrol head, I'm a little bit torn because classic cars are all about petrol engines. So where does that leave us? Well, we're now at the stage in human development where we've realised that we can't keep using petrol, we can't keep using diesel, we can't keep using oil because it's bad for the environment. You know, the electric car is the next logical step. And because of all the environmental concerns around cars, you know, all I have to say is diesel scandal. That's got everybody very, very worried and very annoyed, depending on which car you've bought, which market it belonged to. And all these environmental concerns are obviously going to have an effect on classic cars. Because classic cars use petrol, they use oil. I think a time will come when the classic car will no longer be allowed into the likes of the City of London or Paris. They just won't, because of the emissions coming out the back. So I think Richard's idea to swap out the old motor for a very clean, efficient, powerful electric one changes the game for the classic car scene. I think this is a game changer right here. Game changer that puts a smile on your face. And when you get home, all you have to do is plug in. Simple as that. If you haven't driven an electric car, especially an electric classic car, I think you should give it a go. You'll be surprised. Pleasantly surprised.